All right, we're getting really close to the end here. I'm just finishing up on some last few details on her dress. Might do a little more refining on her face, and then we'll call the sketch done. So I'm going to continue in the process here. Just add a little more lace work at the bottom of her sleeve. I have this major form delineated, but I do want to get in a couple of these curvilinear forms, and again just plot them out as accurately as I can. This one comes out maybe about that far. I'll try to look at the negative space that's created by it as well. And that comes up maybe about to the halfway point. Something about like this. And we'll just curve that back up into the main form. And we have those little clover leaf kind of shapes in there. Just fill this in, just sketch that in just to show what part needs to be painted in the initial block-in process. And here we have a couple of leaves that are flowing up. And we have a little bit of a distinction there. Kind of a leaf shape that comes down. I'm just going to make this a little more ambiguous. Just want to make sure that I have this stem shape though where it should be. Just a few little striations in here that I want to capture. All right, let's work on this right-hand side a bit. So we have some leafy shapes right in here that I need to delineate. Kind of get a bearing on where I'm at. Like I said, it's easy to get lost here with all this detail work. All right, just want to show these forms here of the leaves really quickly. Yep, there's a nice shape here I want to capture. Really looking for those negative spaces more than anything. So those are the darker forms. As I move to this right-hand side, I'm really going to try to see those negative spaces, the darker forms. There's a little bit of tulle, some of that kind of netted fabric right here under her neckline a bit. So I'm just going to capture that. All right, and then we have a couple of forms right here. So here the lines get a little compressed. So we want to make sure that we show them skinnier and closer together. Just on this side, a little skinnier and closer together. I'm not going to sketch in all the little details on this side. Maybe just really loosely show some of the shading on this side, the separation between the folds of the fabric. But I don't think I'm going to sketch every little nuance. Maybe just a few of the simple forms. Like I said, these folds of the fabric, that's an important shape right there. The shape right here, that's important. Definitely want to get those distinctions in. And again, this fold down here. That's super important. Now I'm going to move back up to this area. I want to just refine a couple of the kind of leaf forms I have there. I have a little bit of a highlight there I want to capture. I want to bring this edge of her clothing up just a bit higher right here. And I want to show that little bit of shading to imply that it's bunched up right at her shoulder. There's a couple little forms along the edge I'd like to capture. Just suggesting them ever so slightly. All right, I'm going to look on this right-hand side, see if there's a few little forms I can imply there without too much work. There is some lace on this back side, but I don't think I'm going to do too much with that. I'm just going to maybe imply a couple of quick forms. It's kind of some curvilinear rounded forms I can put in. Just a few little striations at the bottom. Some shading here to show that this fold has some depth. There are a few little forms here I can apply. I don't know if I had those placed just properly. I think they are a little closer together. It's a fold of fabric right there I want to capture. Okay, let's refine the edge of her sleeve on this side. There's kind of a fold right here, and then another one that just protrudes out, and it follows a stem right there, and I want to let that meet that area. Make sure I have this form correct. And there's an angle change right here. You don't want to make the mistake of making the loops, the edge of her sleeve and her shoulder just like billows and clouds. You don't want to make them just really rounded off. You want to show those separations, those changes of angles, the angularity. That's really important. So here we have some different angles. And there it's a little bit more bunched up. And this kind of folds downwards, just a bit of a shadow in that area right there. So I want to just do a little work on that earring, show the metallic nature of it. It's a little bit of a dark shadow in the middle, and that shows that it's metallic. And I want to get a little bit of a shadow underneath her earlobe. Get that in there. A little bit of shading here on the area right above her lips. Oh, I see something I want to add down here on her sleeves yet. Just a little bit of an area I missed there. I don't want to make it too complicated, but just have the major forms. That's all that matters. We've got this thick area here, these little loops, almost like wings on a butterfly, the little leaves, and like I said, those negative spaces. You're going to be kind of tempted to draw all the little leafy patterns and everything, but it's better just to really fill in those areas that the leafy patterns leave behind, the darker areas. And if you do that, you're going to find it so much easier to paint. Let's double check some of the facial features here. Let's look at this wrinkle underneath her chin and jawline and just make sure I have that accurate. Make sure I have that earlobe to the right level. And this line should come down just a bit lower. Just a bit lower. It looks like maybe about that far. I want to make sure I have that angle correct. The distance between these areas, I want to make sure I have that correct as well. Perhaps her shoulder needs to come up just a bit higher. And there's a little curvilinear form here where the hair kind of flows down inside, but it's also some shading here on her neck area. And I think her jawline can get just a bit thicker down here, a little more roundness. Here the line gets a little more sparse. There's less shading around it. But here there is some shading. All right, and then this strand of hair, I want to make sure I have that flowing down to about the right angle. A little more shading just in this area around your ear. And the back of her head, just want to get those curvilinear forms, showing how her hair is tied up, and just refine that a bit more. This top kind of ponytail area doesn't come out as far as what I had it. Stop just at that point. And I just want to refine the top a little bit. A little bit of a divot that flows up like that. Add a little more shading to the left-hand side. Bring this hair down a bit where it flows out from her scalp on her forehead. Really get this distinction here where it flows out at that point. And this parted area in the middle. And let's just make sure we have some of the forms on the interior of the hair defined the way they should be. It's a little bit of a highlight right there. That's important to capture that. All right, just double check her eyes quick. Now, if there's any little deviations in the sketch as compared to the reference photo, I can always iron those out in the painting process as long as the sketch is close. So keep that in mind as you're working on your sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be good enough. It just has to be close. It's just like a builder, has to have a straight foundation on their house. They want to make sure the foundation is level. They want to make sure that they can start adding the joists and the structure, the wall, the roof, but they don't measure it like 10, 20 times. They measure it maybe, twice, maybe 3 times, but they're not going to measure it like 10 or 20 times. If it's off by, a centimeter, it's not going to make a big deal. All right. So it just has to be very, very close. And same thing with your sketch. You want to make sure it's as close as possible. So if there's any deviations here, and there's some areas where, you know, when I paint it, I'm going to have to refine it a little bit, and that's okay. And you can do the same thing in your painting. Just get it good enough, just get it close enough, and go ahead and submit it to our Facebook group. Again, when you sign up for the challenge, I'll send you a link to our Facebook group, and get some feedback. Get some feedback from your fellow artist friends. You'll make some friends there. It's a friendly group, and you'll get some you know, second opinions on it. You'll be able to know if you got that sketch dialed in or not. Okay, so take advantage of the Facebook community, and yeah, you'll be able to do this. Your sketch is going to turn out very, very well. And I think with that, we're going to call this sketch done. Unless I see any little nuances, you know, after I'm done with this video, I might make a couple of refinements, but we're going to call this sketch done. I've enjoyed teaching you in this process, and hey, I am proud of you again for taking the challenge, for, you know, doing something maybe you haven't done before. If you've never painted a portrait, or you just haven't had a lot of experience painting portraits, I'm proud of you for diving into this challenge. I look forward to teaching you in the next class, and the next class is going to be blocking in, starting with those first few layers of paint. I'm going to show you how to do it in our next class. But for now, I want to say thank you so much for taking part of this challenge. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to sign up at realisticacrylic.com. Share this video with your friends. Share the lessons with your friends and the whole portrait painting challenge. And subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. All right. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. And we'll see you in the next video. Take care.